So this is the move to perform software in action. We just go down to our launchpad here and launch the move to perform. Once it comes up, it will want to synchronize the data. Okay, so I can synchronize the software. So let's say that I had closed the system down and the data that I'd placed in it a couple of days ago was not yet rolled into the global data, then I could go ahead and do that. Come back to the main menu. I'll just maximize this. So these are the options. If I was inputting some new data, these are the options that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and do an occupational. No, let's go ahead and do a pre-participation physical. You do have the option of holding it over the question mark there, and it will tell you which one you should use and why, which I find very useful. If I was coming back from injury, clearly I could pick to whether it was the upper body or lower body, and it will tailor it. My understanding is that, well, it says down here, the type of testing you select will determine the algorithm used. So let's try pre-participation physical. If you notice down here, you can ask for it to be specific or sensitive, and hold it over the question mark. We can see that you would select the sensitive type, which I'll go ahead and do, to basically ensure that you don't miss anybody who should be categorized as a higher risk. So it has more false positives, but fewer athletes are found to be at risk. If we were to click on the specific category, we'll have more false negatives, so you actually could miss a few people who should be taken in and checked and given correctives. So I might do the lower quarter balance in the functional movement screen. There are times where I will also do the functional hop testing, and in fact it's often I will do that. I can enter the athlete's group affiliation there, BMI data. I always want to look at their closed chain dorsiflexion, and if I was wanting to do some SFMA data, I could click on that section there, but I won't do that at the moment. I don't do isokinetic testing, and I do like to put their previous injury and current pain or injury data in there. Go ahead and click on the next. We enter some data, so I'm going to put some false data in here. Let's say Joe Blogs. Sorry, first name is Joe Blogs, gender male, date of birth, it's in the American system, so let's say the 1st of January 1995. Sorry, let's say the 1st of July. Let's say they're a high school athlete in dance or gymnastics, and Joe is 175 centimeters tall and weighs 70 kilograms. He's previously been injured, currently does not have a pain, and his affiliation is with the Northern Territory Dance Academy. Just making something up here. We put an email address in, so anything that's in yellow is a required component. Let's put in here j.blogs@hotmail.com. Lower limb length for a 175 centimeter athlete might be, say, 87 centimeters. We'll put some Y balance data in there as a 62 centimeter reach on the right and a 57 on the left. Posteromedial, let's say 102, 104, 103 and 100. Deep squat 2, hurdle step, no, I'm going to make his deep squat 1 because I want to. Hurdle step, left and right 2s, inline lunges at 2, shoulder mobility, let's say he's got a 2-3 and negative testing there. We could do active straight leg raises at 1-1, trunk stability push up 1 and positive, rotary stability 2-2 and negative. I wouldn't always put functional hop testing, but let's say we've done that. Single leg hop is 185 centimeters, 195, let's say 550 for triple, and 530 and 575. Closed chain dorsiflexions measured in degrees. So we're going to go with, let's go back to make this relevant. When standing on his left leg, his performance wasn't as good, so we'll make the left ankle 35 degrees and the right ankle 55 degrees with no pain. No pain with any of the tests. If I wanted to, I could write in here past history of left ankle sprain 3 months ago. Return to activity after pain resolved. Nil. Treatment received. So then what we can do is, I don't want to include the exercises at the moment, but I do want a comprehensive report and an individual summary. You tend to find that the provider summary is kind of the same as what you get in those two areas anyway. I do want to display the category that they're in. I click on Run Report, and here we go with Joe Bloggs. And we found that he's in a substantial deficit. That's where he sits relative to other high school dance. Y balance test scores are pretty good, but because he had an asymmetry, which we'll find, he's in the below standard. We'll see that his Y balance test is below standard for the anterior reach, but his composite scores are quite good. FMS score of 10, but more importantly, positive press up clearing test, positive dysfunctional deep squat and active straight leg raise, and functional hop testing outside of 5% for the triple crossover, and just out of 5% for the single hop. So that's the summary there if you wanted to go into it. So we go back to the software, and if we wanted to retrieve that, I would search for client, and I'd like to receive the comprehensive report. I type in there Bloggs, go to search, find that that's where he is, and I could then run the report again, and it would spit out that report we've just seen. Come back to the main menu, and if I wanted to create a group report, let's give you an example of, say, NTIS netball, and we click on search for there. And before the move to perform, the software had the netball as a category. We were using basketball there, so I'm going to go ahead and select that by date from May of this year, and I could select all of those, even though a couple of them have been included more than once. What we can do is then run a report. We get a group performance in there, and we see how many athletes are in the different categories. And interestingly, we get some nice data that says you're 3 to 6 times more likely to get injured if you are in the substantial and moderate deficit categories. So if wanted to, and just for the sake of some privacy, I'll skip through this, but you can indeed see which athletes are in the categories. You get a group summary for the average asymmetries and the average reach distances for that group, and you get the average FMS data. We can see that the group trend is for some poor trunk stability push-up testing, so in our group testing we can go ahead and do correctives and basic upper limb strength training to improve that trunk stability push-up test. We don't have any significant asymmetries between the group that's showing up. You can see those zeros showing up there, which is great, but there's our main trend, and that's where we get our bang for buck. So that's the group report, and you can see that if we did a comparison report, we could select an athlete, and I could type that same athlete in there. And so we've chosen the 30th of May. Let's choose one for September and run a report. So for that particular athlete, again, privacy, I trust that you look after that. Lower quarter Y balance tests, we're seeing some changes. We've got a significant problem here. This was after an ankle sprain. We use this as a marker of, yes, you're changing. We don't want that to be the case. Let's reset it back to normal. We didn't do an FMS the second time round, we just did Y balance test. That's why that's not included in here. And we can see the closed chain dorsiflexion, which on this occasion I've measured it in centimetres on a knee to wall test in split kneeling. It was 15 centimetres on the right and it's down to 13 on the right after the ankle sprain. So we use this as a marker to take them back to where they were pre-injury, and that's our group report. So we'll just clear those names out of there. We should be able to clear them all. Select all, clear. No, that's not working. That doesn't matter. Return to main menu. Synchronize the software. We did that earlier, and we could configure that by putting in contact names, details, anything that you wanted to write in there initially, and you could put a logo in to start with, and submit. I'll cancel that. So that's the Move to Perform software in a nutshell.